Good morning, students. Today we will try to understand with respect to growth inhibiting hormones. Last class I had explained to you with respect to growth promoters. Today we will discuss about growth inhibitors. First one is ethylene. It is a gaseous hormone and it is also called ripening hormone. This is the only gaseous hormone and it brings about ripening of the fruits, promotes ripening of fruits, accelerates senescence of leaves, flowers and fruits. Now accelerates senescence. Now what do I mean by this? Accelerates mean to increase the speed. Now what is the senescence? Senescence is nothing but aging. So it is accelerating or increasing the speed of aging of leaves, flowers and fruits. So suppose if you supply ethylene artificially to a plant, it will bring about quick aging of the plant. Breaks dormancy and induces seed germination. I told you what is dormancy. Dormancy is nothing but the period of rest after which we see the seed germinates. So it breaks dormancy. Inhibit growth, elongation of stem, root and leaf. So it inhibits growth, elongation of stem, okay, as well as root and leaf. Inhibit flowerings. It does not promote flowering. Next, moving on to abscisic acid. It is also known as ABA or dormin. It promotes abscission of leaves. Abscission means falling of leaf, falling of buds, falling of flowers. That is abscission. Induces dormancy in buds and seeds. It inhibits germination of seeds. It inhibits both cell division and cell enlargement. So it does not help in cell division nor cell enlargement. It also regulates stomatal opening, thereby controlling water loss. So this hormone is responsible for regulating the stomatal opening. This is with respect to the plant hormones or phytohormones. Hopefully, growth inhibitors as well as growth promoting hormones are clear to you. Next, we will try to understand the difference between tropic movement and nastic movement. Here, the movements take place in the direction of the stimulus. Okay, I gave you several examples with respect to phototropism, then geotropism, hydrotropism, chemotropism. Here we saw the movement took place in the direction of the stimulus. For example, root. Gravity was for geotropism, we saw that the stimulus was a gravity and the root was moving towards the stimulus. Okay, that is your tropic movement. Movement is irrespective of the direction of the stimulus. Here, nastic movements are not dependent on the direction of the stimulus. For example, touch me not plant. Now, the stimulus was on one side, but the action was shown on several leaves. Okay, this is a non-directional movement. It is growth dependent movement. It means this kind of stimulus brings about the growth of the plant, whereas this does not bring about the growth of the plant. In touch me not plant, only there was folding of leaf. There was no growth of the plant. Here response is very, very slow. Here response is fast because this is associated with the growth. That's why here we see it is response is slow, whereas here it is just involved in closing of the leaf with respect to touch me not plant. So this response is fast. And few examples like phototropism, geotropism, hydrotropism, chemotropism, and under nastic movements, folding of leaves of touch me not plant. So these are few of the differences. Hopefully these differences are clear to you. Next we will move on to hormones. These are the chemical substance which coordinate and control the activities of living organisms and their growth. Now, to bring about control and coordination, we not only have nervous system, but we also have hormones that plays a very important role. Now, nerves cannot innervate or surround each and every organ or every tissue. Now, wherever we don't have the nerves innervating the organ or tissue, there we have hormones, because the messages has to be passed. Even when an organ or a tissue is not surrounded by nerves, some kind of information has to be passed. Then how does it do so? By means of hormones. So apart from nervous system, we also have hormones that helps in control and coordination. Let's understand the characteristics and functions of hormone. Hormones are the secretions of endocrine glands or tissues. Now, endocrine glands are also known as ductless glands. It means they don't have tube-like structure. Their secretions are directly poured into the bloodstream. They are poured directly into the blood and carried throughout the body by blood circulatory system. Then how it is being transported, these hormones, when they are directly poured into the blood by means of circulatory system? Hormones have the effect at the sites different from the sites where they are made, so they are called chemical messengers. Now, hormones are produced at one site, but they have the effect on some other site. So they are also called as chemical messengers. They act on specific tissues or organs called target organs. For example, growth hormone. Now, which is a target organ? The target organ over here is the tissue and the bones. Now, when it acts on these tissues and the bones, only then a growth is brought about in an organism. Those are your target organs. They coordinate the activities of the body and also its growth. They are secreted in extremely minute quantity. Hormones, whether in plants or animals, it is secreted in very, very low concentration. What is this hormone made up of? Hormones may be made up of polypeptides and proteins, amino acids and their derivatives or steroids. Hormones help the body to cope with emergency demands such as infection, some kind of trauma, dehydration, starvation, hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is nothing but breaking of blood vessel and the blood leaks, and extreme temperature. So these are the things by means of which hormone helps us to cope with the control and coordination. Thank you.